Good afternoon. I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins, and today is Monday, July 21st. This is our weekly media briefing, and it is hot out there. So today we're going to certainly hear from our municipal guest, who is the supervisor of the town of Cortland, Dr. Richard Becker. Certainly going to hear further down the road from our Executive Director of Consumer Protection with some exciting information and updates for people to let them know some things that are going on. Certainly we're going to hear from the Deputy County Executive, Richard Wishney, letting us know everything that's going on in the parks and figure out where he's putting on his dancing shoes over the week. But we're going to start first with the weather. The weather is the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for Westchester County through Wednesday, July 30th at 8 p.m. During this period, heat index values are expected to reach in the upper 90s and low 100s. What that means, during the week further down the road, we have isolated thunderstorms beginning on Wednesday, which may form and could bring the potential of flash flooding, with temperatures predicted also to be around 97 degrees. Rain's expected to last through Friday afternoon with scattered thunderstorms over that 3-day period. The Westchester County Health Department always cautions residents to drink lots of water, avoid overexertion, check on our vulnerable family, friends, and neighbors, and be sure any animals housed outdoors have ample access to shade and water. Residents should never leave children or pets in a closed car where temperatures can easily soar to temperature that are dangerous levels so very quickly. So whether or not that is in a shaded area outside in this time of weather, it will happen very quickly. Don't be that person. Don't do that at all, leaving pets or children in a closed car. Certainly there are certain vehicles that have the air conditioning that continues to go, and they have signs that they post up for those kind of vehicles that they're in pet mode. That's one thing. Those are okay for the pets, never for children at all. Never, never. Seniors, children, those with chronic health problems are at increased risk of heat illness. Those who lack air conditioning can visit a cooling center near them if their home becomes too warm. To find one of those locations, we have that information up on our screen right now, but that's health.newyorkhealth.ny.gov/environment/weather/cooling. But if you go to our county website in that Department of Health, there's probably just a link right there to move forward from. And your local municipality, certainly in the town of Cortland and other places, they have cooling centers around. Go to visit your local website there to see that information for local things that may be happening in the communities. But again, looking out for your friends, neighbors, and those that have information. Also, for all of you all with smartphones, you have probably a weather app on your phone that also shows the air quality index, and that in the kind of weather where we have humidity and heat together, we have the Canadian wildfires that are continuing to happen, and that will make our air challenging and in certain cases dangerous. So again, look and make sure to check again on those vulnerable populations to make sure your friends, neighbors, and just everyone in your community is safe. Also, because of the weather, Westchester County pools and beaches will stay open an extra hour now through Wednesday, July 30th, to help the residents beat the heat. So whether you're at Glen Island Beach in New Rochelle, Playland Pool, or the beach in Rye, Saxon Woods, White Plains, Sprain Ridge, and the Brooks at Tibbetts in Yonkers, and Wilson Waves in the city of Mount Vernon will be open from 11 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. The last entry is at 7 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, July 28th, 29th, and 30th. And again, with temperatures on the rise, we want to make sure all Westchester County residents have safe and accessible places to cool down. By extending our beach and pool hours, we're helping families stay comfortable during the heat wave. Admission fees do apply. Parking fees apply at Glen Island, Playland Park, and Tibbetts. Proof of Westchester County residency is required everywhere except at Playland. So at Playland, you don't need to be a Westchester County resident to use the pool or the beach. Everywhere else, you have to have a park pass or have Westchester County residency to participate there. So with that, we're going to bring up at this time a great friend of all of ours from the town of Cortland. The town of Cortland is about 50 square miles. I would surmise to say that it is one of the largest towns in the county. It has a population of around 50,000 as well. So 50 square miles, 50 square miles, as well as 50,000 residents. But they do so many fantastic things in the town of Cortland. And to tell us all about that is our friend, Dr. Richard Beck, the supervisor of the town of Cortland. Dr. Beck.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, buddy. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be asked to speak about the town of Cortland. And as Ken, I want to thank you for the warm welcome, 95 degrees out there. and everything he said about staying healthy from the point of view of being a physician is correct. Stay hydrated, stay out of the heat. The town of Cortland, as the county executive mentioned, is one of the largest towns, but it's also one of the most diverse. We have two villages, Croton-on-Hudson and the village of Buchanan, both with their separate municipalities. And we also have distinct hamlets in other districts like Verplanck. There's also Montrose, T-Town, and Cortland Manor itself. So it's a very diverse, large town. Our town board is very active and participates in everything we do. I'm joined by Deputy Supervisor Jim Creighton here, but our other three town board members are listening in, I'm sure. Joyce White, Councilman Robert Mays, and Councilwoman Kristen Jacoby. When I became supervisor, one of the first things I heard was that people wanted to know what's going on in town. There's very hard for people who are busy to hear what's going on. And we started putting out a weekly newsletter. I know a lot of towns do that. From the slides that are going on behind me, it says 13,000, but as of this week, we're up to 15,000 people who get it every Friday afternoon. And it's a long newsletter. If you printed it out, it'd probably be about 10 pages because it's become the community bulletin board. So many local nonprofits, civic organizations, and others ask us to post their events that it's really been the place to go if you want to know what's going on. But one of the things I was also aware of, this is a way we broadcast out to the community what's going on. How do we hear from the community? So one of the things we developed, and this is hot off the press, Ken, is a 311 app that you can download. And it allows folks to let us know what's going on in town. And basically anything that you would come to town hall for, anything you would come and call us about, you can handle on this app that you can download from Google Play or from the App Store, on the Apple App Store. People report potholes and trees down, traffic accidents, and we get it in real time. And so this has been an amazing application. But as I said, anything that you would normally come to town hall for, whether it's getting, paying your taxes or getting construction permits or a dog license, a marriage license, fishing license, it all can be done through this app in the palm of your hand from home or work. It's really a great addition so we could hear from the community. One of the town's biggest assets is our town pool, the Cook Pool. It's large, as you can see from one of the slides that'll go by. Sometimes we get up to 750 people on a hot day like today or over the weekend, and we can accommodate that crowd without a problem. And we did a 4-phase renovation over 4 years. We just finished phase 3. Phase 1 was a $2.5 million bathhouse, completely built. Then in the second year, we redid the shallow end of the pool where it's great for kids. You can walk out and it never gets above their waist. Phase 3 was redoing the deep end, which we finished this year. And next year, we hope to redo our pump house. It's a large facility. We just bought more property adjacent to it to expand what we can offer there. And some of the slides you'll see flashing by are really about our Cortland Waterfront Performance Stage, which we built about a year ago. It's the only park between New York City and Albany unencumbered by railroad tracks. So when you're there and having an event on the stage, you don't have trains interrupting the performance. And we're introducing some new things. For example, on September 27th, we're having a Festival of Makers, which is a high-end crafts fair, very similar to what you'd see in Garrison or Lyndhurst. We already have over 100 vendors set up for that, so that's going to be a big event. And one thing I'm very excited about is on September 20th, which is a Saturday at 7 p.m., we're going to have the Hudson Valley Shakespeare Festival. Normally you'd go to Boscobel, you'd pay a lot of money. They're now building a new facility. Well, I reached out to them, and they're going to do a free concert. Ken, we got some free VIP tickets for you. You can be right up front. They're going to do Julius Caesar, and it should be a beautiful evening on the Hudson watching the sunset. And it's going to be followed by a laser light show, which we did at the ribbon cutting, which was fantastic. And we also have our summer concert series on Thursday nights at 6 o'clock right on the river. We usually have 2 bands playing and food trucks, and it's a nice way to relax on a weeknight during the summer. Cortland does not have its own police department. We contract with the county for the county police, and it's been a wonderful relationship that we've expanded. We've actually rebranded the Cortland Police Barracks as the Cortland Precinct, and all of our cars say Cortland Precinct as well as County Police. And we just signed a new contract with Ken's help that's going to go through 2029. So we're in business for quite a while with the county police. And Councilman Creighton helped me. We expanded. A couple of years ago, we added a traffic and safety officer, as well as recently a community resource officer, which is really helpful in de-escalating situations before they become a problem. It's probably, if I can recommend that to any community in Westchester, a community resource officer who's specially trained in de-escalating situations is great. We've also introduced 4 new forms of recycling. Deputy Supervisor Creighton is so involved with Sustainable Westchester and other programs. First, this past May, we had our first town-wide garage sale. Lots of folks don't want to sit at the bottom of their driveway. They feel uncomfortable, unsafe. So we put everyone together, and we had over 100 folks set up, which filled us up. Next year, we'll probably double that amount, and everything that was brought in was taken away. Second, we held a repair cafe a couple of weeks ago. That's where people bring in broken household items like lamps and vacuums, jewelry, fabrics, clothes, and volunteers will repair them totally free. That keeps these items out of the waste stream and gives them a new life. It's a very popular event. Third, we're going to have our annual town-wide community swap. That's something I saw in New York City we introduced, where people just clean out their house and bring in things that they think are junk, and people take them away for free. And there are a lot of, they give them a second life. I'm amazed at the crowd that we get, hundreds of people. The volume, the tonnage of material that comes in is amazing, and it all goes out. We don't have to dispose of it. So it's really a great thing, great way of recycling. And finally, we're introduced our food scrap composting program. We have 2 drop-off sites. We hope to expand it. I just spoke to the county executive. We may have a 3rd or a 4th site set up to expand that, because that's a great way of being green. So the town of Cortland is doing well. We're moving forward. We've had an exceptional economic growth. Many new businesses have come to town. Our retail space is over 95% occupied. We provide wonderful recreational programs and also work to protect the environment. We're exhibiting smart growth. Thank you, Ken.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
Dr.
buddy.
Becker, right?
Thank you.
And again, well, a couple of things from Dr. Becker, and certainly starting with the doctor perspective and reminding all of us that we should take care and make sure that we are hydrating and paying attention to all those things that every one of our medical professionals told us about. The town of Cortland is awesome and fantastic. That brand new stage that was built with the help, I guess, of Senator Harcum and Assemblymember Burdick, I would assume as well with the town, working together, that wonderful space. I think everyone else, Ossining and some other folks, would be upset if they said, oh wait, that's the only space. It's like, you have so much beauty on the Hudson. Make sure to take an opportunity to come by and check the folks out at the town of Cortland. Certainly you can go to any one of the villages or the hamlets as well, grab some food as well, and then get down to the waterfront and get some great entertainment. And Shakespeare on the Hudson, that is going to be awesome from the Boscobel folks to do that. I'll look forward to doing that. It was free too, so it wasn't just VIP free, it was free for everyone. So we're going to have a great time at the town and be able to make sure that we see all of those things that are happening. The environmental leadership in the town continues to be fantastic, but the partnerships between the local municipality and going on the website, downloading the app, as the supervisor pointed out, so many of our municipalities have the app. If you're in the town of Cortland, in any of the villages or the hamlets, and what you just want to find out what's going on in the town of Cortland, download the app and be able to see all the great things that are going on. So it's always great seeing you, Supervisor, and certainly Jim and the whole team that they have up in the town of Cortland that's doing a fantastic job to move things forward so many different ways. So we're going to switch really quickly and talk a minute about our friends at Playland. Playland, we had certainly a tremendous victory this week. This past week, we had a next step moving forward in that long-standing dispute with Standard Amusements that we're continuing on. We still have other pieces to go in the arbitration, but the very first piece of the arbitration was whether or not the county had the ability to fix any problems with the being declared in default by Standard Amusements, and we had the opportunity to fix that. That was not done, and that's what the arbitration panel ruled on and said that was in our county's favor, solidifying the county's legal position and stewardship of the historic park. Playland is the people's park now and always. This ruling reaffirms what we've said all along. Westchester County has honored its commitments, $150 million worth, acted in good faith to revitalize and protect Playland for future generations. The panel's decision not only upholds the integrity of our agreement, it sends a strong message that Westchester is not going to get bullied by corporations and partners outside of the county government, outside of government, and making sure that we're doing the very best can in stewardship of the dollars that we've been entrusted with. Again, we always say this, and the Deputy County Executive will talk about this more later on. These are our investments in the park. In parks, they are investments, but they are your parks. 18,000 plus acres, 55 plus different facilities that we have, and this is one of them. It's the crown jewel as far as we're concerned of our county park system for Playland Park, and we're going to continue to do the fixes and investments that are necessary to move that forward. Again, the decision is not just a legal win, it's a victory for good government, accountability, and the residents of Westchester County, especially for the children who the park is for. And those are children that are young or young at heart. We're grateful to the panel for its thorough and impartial review, and we're moving forward with the next stages on that, and we'll see how that moves along. With that, I'm going to ask the Deputy County Executive to come up and give us some updates on some other park facilities that we have.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Unfortunately, not too long ago, we had some serious damage done to the Tarrytown Lighthouse at Sleepy Hollow. And that significant damage was done by 4 young people who now face serious legal ramifications due to the damage. Destruction at the lighthouse, which is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, included significant fire damage to the flooring on the first floor, multiple broken windows on the first and second floor, multiple items destroyed, including valuable antiques, other furniture, and items of historical significance. Damage to about 35 antique books that were removed from the shelves and strewn about the floor. At this time, we just wanted to bring you up to date about the ongoing closure and the next steps. Repair work, along with additional safety measures, including efforts to further secure the windows and address other structural concerns, will begin this week. Our contractors are prepared to move efficiently, and if all goes according to schedule, we are optimistic about a potential reopening by October. We understand the impact that this closure has had on the public, and we appreciate your continued patience and understanding as we work to ensure the space is safe, secure, and fully operational once again. And at this time, it's a great pleasure to introduce a young man that I met many years ago when we were both county legislators. He went on to serve as an outstanding county legislator, and now for the last 8 years, has been the director of our Consumer Protection Department. He does a marvelous job, and he comes here from time to time to bring us up to date. And today, he's going to talk about a program that is very important to the public. Jim Maizano.
Thank you, Dick. You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. County Executive and Mr. Deputy County Executive. Today's message is to consumers, contractors, and Westchester's municipal building departments about some changes to our laws for home improvement contractors. If you really want to check the law, it's 863.312 of the Consumer Protection Code. Since the first week of July, we've added 2 new types of work that must be licensed in Westchester County, and that is HVAC and power washing. The county legislators brought this issue to our attention, working with our office and the county executive as well, and we added both of those 2 areas of work to the law. Now they must be licensed. Let me just point out, there's people doing HVAC work right now who are licensed through our plumbers and electricians. There are HVAC companies that are licensed because they do other home improvement contracts. So it's not like nobody who does HVAC wasn't licensed, but there was some that fell through the loophole that only did HVAC and didn't have a license. So we added that to the law to make sure all of them get a license and go through the background check with our department. Same with power washing company. A lot of those companies are already home improvement contractors, so they have a license. So what we did was fill a loophole to make sure everybody that does those areas of work get a license. Now, if you are one of these companies that does not have a license, everything you need to know is on our website, consumer.westchestergov.com. If you have questions, call 914-995-2155. And while I'm here, I have to do this because I always do it. To all the people of Westchester, let me remind you, do not hire unlicensed contractors, okay? You're making a big mistake. As I always say, you'd be crazy to hire a contractor who never got a background check, that never went through the procedure like everyone else did to get the review, get the license, and pay for the license as well. So please don't make that mistake. Lastly, I just want to point out, we always appreciate our friends in local government. We have a supervisor here today. Those municipal building departments help us enforce the home improvement contractor licensing law because they should not be giving permits to unlicensed contractors. So I'd like to remind our building departments, most of them are doing it already, but remind you that if someone does not have a license, they shouldn't be getting a permit to work in that municipality. And if anybody has a question about whether a contractor has a license, you can go to our website. There's a database there. You can call us at, again, 914-995-2155, or you can even send us an email if you have a question. conpro@westchestercountynY.gov. Your Consumer Protection Department is there to help you, answer questions, work with you. Just contact us. We'd be happy to chat with you. Thank you, Mr. County Executive.
Thanks, Jim. We thank Jim Maizano because, again, one of the advantages of being a recovering legislator, as both Deputy County Executive, Richard Wishney, Jim Maizano, so many of us, myself, John Nona, we could keep naming names of all of the recovering legislators that served on the Board of Legislators, but one of the best advantages is understanding the laws, because we helped write a bunch of these laws that are in place. This one, specifically, the 2 items, one for power washers was a hole that was a concern because people would call Consumer Protection and say, hey, XYZ was doing power washing and came to the house, et cetera, and then they had issues and they were not able to to have any follow-up because those folks were not licensed. So the Board of Legislators, working with the Department of Consumer Protection, fixed that hole. The element with HVAC was a really interesting one, as Jim just pointed out. The reality was that most of the time, especially on HVAC work, you have electric work, which you need a license for. You have plumbing work, you need a license for. And the challenge was working with those municipalities from an affordability perspective for a homeowner, right? First, you need to have one thing. If it's HVAC, then there should be a license and licensing process and permitting for that kind of thing, as opposed to a permit you need for plumbing and then a permit you need for electrical, and that would be a challenge for those local homeowners. And all of us are working together, trying to first make sure that people have the safety urgency of understanding that their contractors are licensed. And as Jim keeps pointing out, don't do that. Don't hire someone that is not licensed, because it creates challenges if something goes wrong. And that's not saying something's going to go wrong as far as the work is concerned, but usually it's some kind of interaction, like someone had a contract or a verbal contract, and there's no such animal. The licensing law requires folks to have written contracts, and then people have an agreement on them and understanding how those processes work. So all those things are for your protection. And the town, in case, since we have the supervisor and one of the town board members in the room, they're making sure, because their constituents come up to them and say, hey, something happened. I had this company, XYZ, that had happened, and they're like, well, we don't know anything about that, right? It makes everyone have a level of frustration. And Jim certainly comes in during the earlier parts of the year in the springtime with the folks that come into different communities, especially the pavers doing driveways, and that'll come back. He'll be back in the fall when that process is going to happen again, when people give large sums of money, tens of thousands of dollars in some of the cases, to have work done. The person's not licensed, and there's homeowners that are out. So again, we want to continue to point people to the Consumer Protection website. Has lots of information there, working with the town and the municipal governments, the cities, the towns, the villages around Westchester County, to make sure that everyone is safe and secure. So Jim, thank you so much for bringing that information to everyone and reminding people of a new law that came into place on July 1st with our County Board of Legislators. Before we pass over to our friend, the Deputy County Executive, Richard Wishney, to let us know everything that's going on in the nationally accredited and award-winning park system, we want to let you know, again, how the numbers continue to go through the summer. Our pools and beaches through July 27th, obviously the approximate numbers. For our pools and beaches, 33,000 people have taken advantage of the county pools and beaches. The golf, we have played over 9,600 rounds of golf. For the duffers out there, last Friday we had the Taylor Swift tribute at Kensico, and it was some challenging weather that may have kept some people from coming, but there was still 1,500 people that came out to enjoy the Taylor Swift tribute at Kensico Dam Plaza. And then on Saturday, again, we had some rainy periods of time there, but Inside Out 2 was there at Kensico Dam, and 1,200 people came out to see that on Saturday evening. So we have thousands of people that go to the non-entry or ticketed parks throughout the system. Again, 18,000 acres, over 55 different facilities that we have all throughout the county. They're your county parks. You pay for them. Again, make sure to take advantage of those, and whether you went on Bicycle Sunday or I saw a bunch of folks that were on the Sawmill side, on the Trailway, on the Sawmill River side, on the Andy O'Rourke Trailway, right, that we have, and they were out there biking in a very large group that I saw somewhere in Irvington. And everyone keeps asking us how many people are going to Playland. Right at this particular point in time, almost 90,000 people plus have gone through the gates of the amusement park through this shortened season. So it is fantastic. There was some information in our local news and in the Journal News this week about everyone, as a matter of fact, was headline page above the fold and everything today about, Playland being a huge part of so many people's summer. Make sure that you get a chance and take advantage of that. And let's turn over to the man himself, the Deputy County Executive, Richard Wishney.
Thank you again, sir. And before you go, I thought maybe together we could mention that the supervisor from Cortland, Dr. Richard Becker, 50 years ago began his career as a doctor in medical school, and in the next 2 weeks, almost to the same date, he's going to retire. And sir, we want to congratulate you for your public service and all the service you provided to your patients over the years.
For 50 years. Thank you so much, Dr. Becker.
I'm only 53.
Okay. Well, with that, sir, we do want to talk a little bit about the numbers in the parks that the county executive just shared with us. It's exciting to see so many of our Westchester residents coming out to enjoy our nationally accredited and award-winning park systems. Tuesday, July 29th, from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m., there's going to be another Zumba. This week, unfortunately, Ken can't make it as the teacher. We alternate teaching that class. But we do have some excellent instructors, Steve and Ania Jones. And they do a great job, and you'll get a good workout, and there's free admission and parking at the facility. On Saturday, August 2nd, from 9 to 11, we have a program called Ancestral Trailways, and that's going to be held at Croton Point Park. Wear sturdy shoes, and we take a 3-mile hike on some rough terrain to visit historical and archaeological sites from the archaic to the 17th century for ages 10 and up. On Saturday, August 2nd, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m., Tea with the Animals. That's going to be held at Hilltop Hanover Farm at an environmental center in Yorktown. The adults and kids 6 and older can join for a mid-morning cuppa while they meet and learn about the animals on the farm. Harvest and make some scrumptious treats for ourselves and the animals to enjoy together. There's a small charge of $15, and it will also be held on September 6th. On Saturday, August 2nd, at 8:15 p.m., at Saxon Woods' 100-year celebration, we're going to have a movie night. The movie's Encanto, and that's going to be held at Saxon Woods Park. Celebrate Saxon Woods' 100th anniversary with movie night. Again, the feature is Encanto. We'll be announcing those who completed the 100-lap challenge. Pool will be open through 7:30 p.m. Movie starts at 8:15 p.m. Bring blankets and lawn chairs for seating, and refreshments will be available to purchase. At this time, Westchester County residency is required for this program. On Sunday, August 3rd, from 9:30 to 2:30 p.m. at Muscoot Farm, at the Alfred Del Bello Muscoot Farm in Katona. The market supports farmers and sustainable efforts in our area, featuring over 30 vendors every Sunday until November 16th. Shop while listening to a live performance from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. by musician Fento Leo. And then on Sunday, August 3rd, from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Kensico Dam, we're having the Indian Heritage Festival. Experience a multitude of cultures this summer without leaving the county or the country. Gather your family and friends, leave your passport at home, and enjoy traditions from around the world. And that, Mr. County Executive, are some of the events happening in our parks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
And Richard, the Deputy County Executive, did not mention Bicycle Sunday because in August we skip Bicycle Sundays during August because of the heat, and then we pick it up back up the week after Labor Day, not Labor Day because we never do those on holiday weekends. So Bicycle Sunday is on hold, but certainly the bicycle path around the Bronx River Reservation is still available for all of us to participate in and have fun with. Again, remember that there are people that are pedestrians that are walking, and we would not want them to have to visit anyone because of the bicycles that are running past them so quickly. So making sure that you're respecting the fact that there's a pathway, that there's walkers, there's people that are biking, there's people that are just running, there's people that are just sitting down on the side and having a great time. So again, make sure you download the Parks app or sign up for the e-newsletter by going to parks.westchestergov.com and be able to get that information. And every once in a while, there's discounts available as well. You'll find out the dates that whether the Deputy County Executive and myself are doing the Zumba class and running that kind of thing. But if you are in the Sound Shore, you may go to the salsa class at Glen Island Park. They also have those things happening, but that's a couple of weeks down the way, and we'll put that in next week's briefing. We had an outstanding time this afternoon, certainly talking with Dr. Richard Becker, the town supervisor of the town of Cortland, and certainly Jim Crane's here as well to talk through that, and all the great town board members there. But Supervisor Dr. Becker gave us all the information that was going on. Make sure to download their app as well to get that information, the 311 app that you can get right off of the town of Cortland website at the App Store or on the Google Play Store. Either one of those platforms will do that. We had Jim Mazzano let us know the changes that were in the place of the law in Westchester County for licensing for power washing, as well as for HVAC vendors that are going on. And again, so much additional information. And we thank our executive director from the Department of Consumer Protection, Jim Mazzano, his entire team that does a fantastic job just licensing on one side, but also doing follow-up and inspections and making sure that you get everything that you're supposed to get, whether it's at a gas station and with the weights and measures. When you buy a pound of meat, it's actually a pound of meat, not somewhat less. To do all of those things, they do so many great things in the department. So again, go on the website for them, and certainly they don't have an app yet, but I know they're working on one, right? And it's certainly everything that's happening in our nationally accredited and award-winning park system that our Deputy County Executive Richard Wishney came out and pointed out. Again, the weather is hot, and we want everyone to have the extended pool hours. Take advantage of those. If you're around any of those pools or beaches here in Westchester County, certainly take advantage of your local municipalities' pool and cooling centers, senior centers, and making sure that you're watching out for your neighbors in this particular time. I'm County Executive Ken Jenkins. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back to you if there's anything that necessary that comes up. Otherwise, we will see you again next week on Monday with another exciting update with another municipal partner. Have a safe and cool week, and have a great day.